If you've ever looked up at the Catalina Mountains and wondered what it takes to reach Mount Lemmon summit the hard way, you're in the right place. Some people say the back way to Mount Lemmon is easy. Well, I'm not so sure. In today's video, I'm taking you along with me as we tackle the back way to Mount Lemmon. I'll be in my Polaris Razor Trail S1000 to hit the dirt, rocks, steep edges, and the elevation climb we will find at the end of this trail. Is this trail truly easy as some people say? Well, we'll find out. I'm going to show you every single bump along the way. I'll be giving you my real-time narration, my honest feelings about the trail conditions, and a full breakdown of the difficulty level. Whether you're planning to ride this trail yourself and want as much info as you can before you head out, or you just want to enjoy the incredible Arizona views from the comfort of your couch, well, buckle up and let's hit the trail. And, as always, my name is Pat Lowe, and this is Pilo's Adventures. This is kind of a cool little area up here where to the left it kind of goes down into this valley and it's super green down there. I see looks like some power lines that go down there, so there might be, I don't know, a house or some structures or something. Pretty green in here. I don't think we've really had much rain or anything, but it's definitely nice and green. It looks nice. This is the Pepper Sauce Campground. Hopefully this truck turns into the campground, or at least gets out of our way. Good. All right, we just passed Pepper Sauce Campground. Now we're heading up. First part of the road was obviously very smooth. This is a little bumpy, but not too bad. It is a Sunday, so there could be a bit of traffic. As you saw back there, we were following a rig for a while. So I'm not going to go too fast because I don't want to run into a rig coming this direction. So right here, I believe, is where, could be wrong, I think I'm wrong. I thought that was where the Pepper Sauce Caves are, but we might have already passed those. So onX has this trail rated at a 2, which is pretty easy. And from some of the trail reports that I've read recently, this is April of 2026. It is pretty easy up until the last maybe 5 miles. Then it might bump up to moderate. So we'll find out here in a second. The trail ratings are relative. Some people, myself included, find some moderate trails very difficult and easy trails as moderate, so it's hard really to judge the difficult rating or difficulty rating, you know, for any specific individual. So, but it is kind of a general idea. Here comes a van. I wonder if that sucker made it all the way from Mount Lemmon. I don't know if any other stops between here and Mount Lemmon other than just maybe some dispersed camping, or so I'm guessing they came from the top. I think if you had the right rig, it would be fun to drive up the Mount Lemmon Highway, which is the paved road. You get to, if you go through Tucson, then into the Catalina foothills, and then up that way, which is a very beautiful drive. I've done it a couple times. And then you get all the way up into Mount Lemmon, and then from there, you come down this direction, the back way, and make it one big loop. And you could probably do that in one day. It would take a full day, but you know, obviously the halfway point would be up at the top, where you could stop and have lunch at one of their restaurants, maybe shop in a little convenience store. But that would be a fun trip if you have the right kind of rig. My Razor here would be obviously good for the off-road part, but not so good for the on-road part. It would do it, but I don't think I would want to. I wouldn't want to do it. It's a pretty nice view from up here. My last Razor ride was in Sedona, Arizona, so I don't know that anywhere is going to be able to compete with those views. But I don't really expect that. That was a once in a lifetime Razor trip. But I don't know, I say once in a lifetime, I'm going back for sure, so that'll be fun. I'd enjoy taking the wife up there. I'd have a blast. So these drop-offs to the left are not anything too crazy. The road is pretty wide. I still don't want to get on that side. I'd rather take a few extra bumps than get too close to the edge, because I think if you have a 100-foot drop-off or an 800-foot drop-off, it's still going to be really, really bad. So if I have the opportunity to stay on the right here, I'm going to take it, which, as you see, that's what I'm doing. All right, coming up here is the Pepper Sauce Cave. And I see there's a rig there, so there's probably someone exploring in there right now. I've done it. I've gone in the cave, but only for a little short spurt. Nothing too crazy, but it's just off to the right there. You have to kind of crawl down in there. is kind of cool about this trip is it starts down kind of in the lower desert, although there's not a lot of saguaro cactuses down there. Well, what do we got here? Ghost Head Productions. I have to remember that. I have no idea what they're filming. Ghost Head Productions. Anyway, you kind of go from the low desert cactuses, and as you get a little bit higher, you get into some of the small mesquite trees. And then, as you'll see here in a little bit, when you get to the very top, you're in some really tall pine trees. And we're going to be, I think it's close to 9,000 feet of elevation, which is crazy because I'm from Washington State, where a couple of the mountain passes are like 4,000 feet in elevation, half as much high, and it's like so snowy up there all winter long that sometimes you can't even get through the pass. So big ski resorts, and so this is quite different. Although they do have a ski resort up here at Mount Lemmon. I don't know that it's open every year. I don't think they got a ton of snow up here this year. So I kind of doubt that it was open this year, but I could be wrong. The last couple times I went up here, the first time was many years ago, and I rented a Razor, and it was my first time driving one, so I was, nervous and really paying attention to the road, because I didn't want to lose my deposit or wreck anything, so I wasn't really paying attention to the scenery. The second time I went up here, I had my buddy with me, and he drove, and he kind of likes to drive fast, so I was hanging on, paying attention, to make sure my seatbelt was good, and I had a good grip. But this time, I'm kind of taking it easy. Got my friends with me, Brad and Wendy, who have a Razor just like this one. And I just want to soak it in, kind of narrate things as I go up, so I can put this up on the channel and people can get a pretty good idea of what to expect if they want to take this trip. So far, it's very easy and very enjoyable. And the scenery is really nice. Kind of a nice view of a nice little windy road that we're going to be on here in just a minute. Doesn't look too bad from here. I did hear it's supposed to be quite windy today. So they were expecting storms to come through here yesterday. I don't think that happened. Doesn't look like there was any rain. But it was windy yesterday, and I think that's supposed to keep it up. I see a couple cows on the hill off to my left. I don't think they're in view of the camera though. Kind of cool. I don't really remember this. It's kind of just a big open meadow on the way up here. It's pretty neat. Yep, it's getting windy. I almost lost my hat. Comes a rig our way. I'm gonna kind of pull up. Oh, what do we got going on here? Is this a rig full of dogs? That's awesome. That's pretty darn cool. Okay, so every time I come out on the Razor, I always see something odd, and that is no exception. That was pretty cool. An old Jeep here. Yeah, that's a pretty cool view. Obviously cattle graze up here because we've been across a couple cattle guards, and off to the right here we've got a fence, so I don't think they want their cattle going down into that valley or ravine. I'm really so impressed with this Razor I'm driving. It's a Polaris Razor Trail S, and it's a 60-inch wide model, but it's got the 1000cc motor, so it's basically a skinnier version of the XP 1000. It's 60 inches wide instead of 64 inches, but it's got the same motor, and it really gets up and goes. I mean, on roads like this, I'm only doing 25 miles an hour right now, but I've had it up to 70 on the freeway, and really it rode really quite well. I don't think I'd want to go faster than that. I had to go from one exit to another on a freeway, and just to get from one trail to another, so but there really wasn't much traffic, so it wasn't too bad. So the mountain range that we're getting ready to turn up into is the Santa Catalina Mountains, and it stretches from, I'm gonna say, Mammoth or San Manuel all the way over to I guess the south part of Tucson, and there's all kinds of little places to explore up in there. You have Rice Peak, which is a trail that you can take from here, well, back there a little ways when we were by the campground. I've taken that trail, and I probably won't take it again unless I have a friend who wants to go up it, but I took a difficult path. I was by myself, it was rocky and steep, and it beat the heck out of me. And it was okay. When I got to the very top, the scenery was amazing. But if you go to my YouTube channel, Pilo's Adventures, you'll be able to see I did a video of Rice Peak, so you'll be able to see that whole trip. Definitely worth watching. Obviously, back way to Mount Lemmon is another trail that is up in the Santa Catalina Mountains, which is what we're on now. There's the Charlotte Gap Trail, which is another video of mine. I've never made it all the way through the gap. I probably could do it if I had friends with me who have done it before, but I don't know that it's above my capabilities to be able to do it. It's just, I've talked to several people that have done it, and they end up getting flat tires, or their rig has to be winched out and it gets scratches, or it gets rolled, and that's not that uncommon there. So just not interested in that kind of an adventure. I like these kind of adventures where there's generally no risk of injury. I'm not saying it can't happen, but probably won't. Hope I didn't just jinx myself. Kind of a neat little spot here. Right back there, it looked like you could do some camping if you're brave. I think this time of the year the snakes might be coming out. I don't know. All right, we have a fake cow. I don't really know why there's a fake cow there, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. We got a little narrow bridge here. It's probably one rig at a time, but no one's coming our way, so looks like we can fit just fine. So it is kind of fun to look around and catch the scenery, which I see here is really nice. You also really kind of need to pay attention to the road a little bit, or a lot. There is some steep ledges here that you want to be a little bit careful about. like I said before, I choose bumpy rocks over ledges any day of the week. I think that was a big turkey vulture. Well, that's where we're heading, up there somewhere. I don't know what that white stuff is on the side of the mountainside there, but I'm sure there's a geologist or somebody who knows will put that in the comment for me and let me know what it is. It's definitely cooling off up here. Just further, the higher in elevation you get, obviously, it starts cooling off. I thought maybe I might be overdressed a little bit. I'm wearing long pants, which I don't generally wear here in Arizona. Even in the winter, for some reason, I don't wear long pants that often. But I am today, and I'm kind of glad I am. So if I remember right, this kind of open, hilly, meadowy area lasts for a little while longer. But then when we start heading up, we're going to get into the thicker trees. I see some power lines up here, so there's obviously some structures around here somewhere. A road with a gate. Someone's private property up here. I really don't know what's here, but I see some fairly new looking cabins, flying an American flag up there to my right. And I can see it on my map here, but can't read what it says, so I don't know where it goes. But as I look on the map here, it looks like for the next 10 miles, it's going to be pretty windy and narrow, and we'll be heading up. Definitely some nice views from up here. So we're going up these rocky switchbacks, and it is definitely rocky. You want to be a little bit careful about picking your lines, but nothing too technical. I just ran into a guy. Well, I didn't run into him, but came across a guy coming down, and he told me that there's some youngsters up here, teens, in a Kia Sorento with a spare tire, like a donut spare, trying to go up these roads. And if they make it all the way to the top in that would really surprise me. So he wanted me to kind of keep an eye out for them, and hopefully they're okay up here. One of the things I've talked about already a couple times, but I don't really remember it being this way, is there's lots of ledges. There's ledges everywhere, and if you aren't a big fan of steep ledges, or you know, maybe you're not a big fan of being real high up in the air, then you just want to take note of that for this trail. So far, all of the roads have been wide enough where that's really not an issue at all. But I'm kind of used to driving on these, so it hasn't really bothered me too much. And it's definitely 100% for sure rockier than I remember. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's been a bunch of storms where the water's you know, affecting this road, but definitely more rocky than I remember. I think if I was to give a road a rating, and I've been running around on this razor for maybe 4 years or so, so I have some experience and I've done some difficult trails. I think I would not rate this as easy. Like, this is one of those spots where you have to make a decision. Oh, I made the wrong decision. That's one of those spots where you need to make a decision whether you want to go towards the edge or stay to the right. And I made a weird decision, and I went kind of off to the left a little bit. So I think I would go all the way to the right if I had to do it again. I got my buddy coming up behind me. I think he's trying to figure out where to go also. You can't see it on camera, but I do see that Kia Sorento up ahead of us, so it's still moving. Oh, here comes my buddy. He made it. Good. That one was a little scary. I didn't like that. I wouldn't rate that as easy. I'd rate that as moderate. Definitely have to pick your lines up here. I can see how if you don't hit it just right, you could potentially damage a tire. So I would say the first half of this trail is kind of a nice, relaxing trail to drive on and enjoy the scenery. I would say when you get up here, you're not as relaxed. I mean, there's different people with different capabilities, and for me, you know, average skill, this is not super relaxing. I'm going to pull over here and wait for my buddy to come up from behind here. Here's that Kia. Oh, it's not a Kia, this is a Toyota, so I don't think this is the rig they were talking about. That guy's got a license plate that says "You crazy." I think he's crazy. How you doing?
Life is good.
Oh, if that's for sure. I got one more rig coming up behind me, but they're going a little slower than me, so I don't know where they're at.
They probably are going still a little faster.
I heard there's like a Kia up here.
What?
A Kia with a bunch of teenagers, and they have like a donut tire on it. So I heard to keep an eye out for them. Just the guy I talked to didn't think they were going to make it. So
Okay.
have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Okay. All right, now we're definitely getting up into the pine trees. It's definitely dropped temperature. I don't know what it is right now, but there's definitely a chill. The road is still rocky, of course. I say this on almost every video I do. The image stabilization on these cameras is so good that it's hard to really explain how steep or how bumpy something is when you see it on video. So maybe what I'll try to do is take off the image stabilization. Go ahead. Here's those teenagers in a Hyundai Santa Fe, but I see that spare tire on here, so I'm going to chat with them real quick. How you guys doing?
Doing good. There's a really sharp rock that fucked our back right tire, but we're making it to Summerhaven.
Holy smokes! So you doing okay?
Yeah.
You got.
I made the very smart decision of not buying a full spare, so we're going on a donut, but we're almost there.
I don't even have a spare.
Well.
So, but these tires are pretty beefy. I'll cross my fingers.
Yeah. No, the road's been fine. It's just those fucking sharp rocks get you, man.
I always look for sharp rocks and steep ledges.
Yeah, we're looking now.
Well, it looks like you're probably 20 minutes from the top. So.
Yeah, we're almost there.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Okay. Well, those were the youngsters. It was a Hyundai, and I saw well, you probably saw it on the camera too, their spare tire, so I don't know what to think. They're gonna have to, fortunately, once they get up to the top, they can drive down on the pavement all the way down the other way. So they shouldn't be taking this road back out, but they seem to have a good attitude, I suppose. They're happy and smiling. It's a heck of an adventure. I wouldn't do it. Well, I wouldn't do it in that. I have a Ford Ranger pickup, newer one, and it's four-wheel drive and it's probably capable, but man, I would never, I don't know, I just wouldn't take it up here. And people would say, oh, it's a truck, you're supposed to do truck stuff with trucks. Well, I don't disagree, but I would buy probably an older truck that maybe already has pinstriping on it and some dings and stuff like that. That truck I have is kind of, I use it to tow this around, and it's for around town. So all right, here's one where there's the rocks or the ledge. I'm actually going a little bit close to the ledge. We'll see how my buddy handles that one. He doesn't like ledges too much, so he may choose the rock side. He did good. He did good. We're getting there. Nice up here. Got looks like 1, 2, 3 more steep switchback, not steep, but switchbacks. I like it up here. This reminds me a little bit more of eastern Washington mountains, where I spent a lot of time doing a lot of hunting over there. Looks like there's some campers down there. That'd be kind of fun to camp up here. Of course, you don't want to do it in the winter, because this has probably got several feet of snow on it at some winters, maybe. So I'm going to chat about my YouTube channel a little bit right before we get to the top here. So I started off on Pino's Adventures a long time ago, and one of my first videos I put on it was a video I took in the Puget Sound. I had a boat and I was out tooling around on the boat, and I decided to go crabbing. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to put a GoPro in a crab pot and drop it down into the Puget Sound and see what I captured. Well, I captured lots of crabs coming into the crab pot, and so really without much editing at all, I put it up on my YouTube channel, and I got no views really for a really long time. And all of a sudden one day I started getting views and views and views and views. And I don't know where it's at right now, but it's like 6 million maybe on this silly video, and lots of comments, and so that's kind of where things kicked off. So I have a lot of fishing videos because I go fishing quite a bit in some of my adventures. And then I moved from Washington State to Arizona when I retired. I was into law enforcement for many years, over 25 years. And so when I retired, I moved here, and down here in southern Arizona, I don't have a lot of lakes. Oh, I just hit a heavy bump. I don't have a lot of lakes, so I bought a razor, sold my boat, and bought this. And now all my adventures, not all of them, but lots of them are really cool trails I go out on. And sometimes I do some narrating, sometimes I put to music, fly my drone, and that's what Pilo's Adventures is all about. Basically, I want to be able to just come up to all these really cool places and put it on video on YouTube, because I would imagine there's a lot of people that can't do a lot of these things. I'm very fortunate to be able to come up here and take on these adventures. And I want to give other people the opportunity to see this if they can't come and see it for themselves. So two things: people will be able to watch the adventures, put them up on 4K, and see what I do on YouTube. Also, people can use these videos if they want to come out themselves and take on some of these trails and see whether it's something they want to do it or not. So I love putting these out. If I can get plenty of people to subscribe to my channel and I get a lot of support, I'll keep putting these videos out over and over, because I like doing it, and it appears as if people enjoy watching them. Some more than others, but it's kind of a process. So if you were to subscribe to my YouTube channel, boy, I'd really appreciate it. And if you leave a comment, I will get back to you. And if you like these videos, it really helps out the channel. So very much appreciate that. So this particular video, if you've made it this far, boy, you're a diehard. So I appreciate that very much. So if you're still listening, this video is gonna mainly come to an end. I'm gonna do mostly one way all the way up to Mount Lemmon, which is here, really very quickly. And then I'll probably do some filming on the way down. I'm gonna let my buddy take the lead, and him and his lady will be out in front, so I can get some good video of those guys hitting some of these rocks. So they have a Polaris Razor trail, very similar to mine, so almost the same color scheme and everything. So it'll be fun getting them on video. So I'm just going to let this run. As you see off to the right there, we are way up here. That's some pretty cool views out there. We got one more switchback. Boy, take that in. That's pretty beautiful. Got one more switchback, and then a little bit left and we'll be up there. Wow, that's pretty cool. We're like that close. So we're in an area, several years ago there was a massive fire up here, and from my understanding pretty much a good part of the town of Summerhaven burned down, and then all of the forest areas nearby burned too. And so what you're seeing now is a lot of the burned out areas. Not really sure what these people are here doing, but it's cold up here. That wind's got a chilly breeze to it. Got some hikers. Think they hiked all the way up this road? That would surprise me. I'll bet you this person's got to be cold. I'll film just on the way into town. Well, we made it. That's a long trek. So there's like quarter mile into town. What's that? Yeah. I'm hungry, so we'll hit the restaurant. Okay. All right, so this is, we're gonna be coming into the town of Summerhaven. Pretty windy up here. I probably said that, I don't know, a whole bunch. Here we are in the town of Summerhaven. That's Ski Valley up to the right. That's where they have a ski resort. I don't know how much snow they need or how often it's run, but it's here.
Well, if you've made it this far in the video, I greatly appreciate that. It's kind of a long one. So now you know the back way to Mount Lemmon as of April 2026. It was a pretty great run, but quite a bit more bumpy than I realized. If you enjoyed this video, I have several more cool adventures that I think you might enjoy as well. So please subscribe to my channel. Of course, like these videos and just watch them all, of course, because they're great. Anyway, once again, thank you very much. My name is Pat Lowe, and as I've said before, this is P. Lowe's Adventures.
The end.